maintain pH of body fluids within a narrow range of 7.35 to 7.45, chemical buffers act within seconds and lungs respond within minutes. However, neither of these mechanisms can precisely eliminate acids from the body. They mainly provide temporary control and are especially ineffective in removing the fixed acids, that is non-volatile acids, which are being continuously produced during metabolism. For long-term and precise regulation, body relies on a system that does not merely tie up acid but actually removes it from the body, the kidneys. So let's now understand the role of kidneys in acid-base balance. Hi, I'm Pratima and welcome to Planet Physiology, where concepts become crystal clear. If you are new to my channel, do subscribe to stay updated with future videos. We have already learned that the body has 3 lines of defense against pH change. The chemical buffers act within seconds, respiratory system removes volatile acids within minutes, and the renal system, the slowest but the most powerful and definitive defense. The kidneys are the ultimate regulators. This makes renal regulation of body fluid pH both an exam favorite and clinical cornerstone. To master this topic, remember this simple checklist. Kidneys secrete hydrogen ions to remove acid, reabsorb filtered bicarbonate to prevent loss of buffer, and generate new bicarbonates to replace buffer consumed during acid neutralization. Before going into details, remember that each day kidney filters about 4,320 milliequivalents of bicarbonate ions. Since bicarbonate is the most important extracellular buffer, almost all of it must be recovered. So usually about 80 to 90% of the filtered bicarbonates are reabsorbed by proximal convoluted tubule, 10% by the thick ascending limb of loop of Henle, and remainder by the late distal tubule and collecting ducts. Daily bicarbonate loss in urine is normally less than 1 milliequivalents per day. Okay, now let's study how bicarbonates are reabsorbed. Filtered bicarbonates cannot directly cross the tubular cells, and so these are reabsorbed indirectly by the mechanism which is coupled with hydrogen secretion. In proximal tubule, carbon dioxide diffuses into the tubular cell or is formed by its metabolic processes. It readily combines with water to form carbonic acid. The cells of PCT are rich in enzyme carbonic anhydrase and hence facilitates production of carbonic acid. It dissociates into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. Hydrogen ion is secreted into the lumen via sodium-hydrogen exchanger, that is by the counter-transport or antiport mechanism. Secreted hydrogen ion combines with the filtered bicarbonate to form carbonic acid and further to carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide diffuses back into the cell and the cycle repeats. Newly formed bicarbonate ion enters the blood via sodium bicarbonate cotransport through the basolateral membrane. Thus, the bicarbonate is not directly absorbed but recreated inside the cell. This is why we say bicarbonate is indirectly reabsorbed. Bicarbonate reabsorption in late segment of the PCT and thick ascending limb of loop of Henle occurs by chloride bicarbonate countertransport. And whatever is the mechanism, PCT and thick ascending limb of loop of Henle together reabsorb about 95% of the filtered bicarbonates by secondary active transport mechanism. Okay, key point here is, for each bicarbonate ion reabsorbed, an hydrogen ion must be secreted. So how much should be the daily secretion of hydrogen ions? As I mentioned earlier, filtered load of bicarbonate is 4,320 milliequivalents per day. But our body also produces about 80 milliequivalents per day of fixed acids, and therefore kidneys must secrete 4,400 milliequivalents of hydrogen per day. Most of the secretion occurs in early nephron segments, that is PCT and the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Here is another thought question to clarify your concept. What happens to the tubular fluid pH due to hydrogen secretion in PCT? Yes, it should decrease, but not much. Even though PCT secretes large quantities of hydrogen ions mainly react with bicarbonates to reabsorb them and hence are not excreted. Also, the secondary active transport can generate only small hydrogen gradients of about 3 to 4 times. Hence, tubular pH falls only to about 6.7. So the role of PCT in terms of acid-base balance is for bicarbonate recovery and not much for acid elimination. To effectively get rid of excess of acids, late distal convoluted tubule and the collecting tubules play major role due to presence of intercalated cells. They use hydrogen ATPase as well as hydrogen potassium ATPase, that is primary active transport, to secrete hydrogen ions. These cells can create huge hydrogen ion gradient even up to 1000:1 and produce highly acidic urine. However, there is a limit. Kidneys cannot make urine more acidic than the pH of about 4.5. This is called limiting pH. It would reach by just 0.03 milliequivalents per liter hydrogen ion concentration. Beyond this, free hydrogen ions cannot be excreted. So how does kidney remove the remaining acid load? It's by using renal buffers. So let's discuss them in detail. The first is phosphate buffer forming titratable acids. Filtered phosphate binds secreted hydrogen ions and then excreted as sodium phosphate. This allows acid secretion without extreme fall in urine pH. Hydrogen ion secretion with phosphate is called as titratable acidity because it can be measured by titration in the lab. It primarily occurs in distal tubules and the collecting ducts because in distal segments, very few bicarbonates are available to bind hydrogen ions. In contrast, phosphate concentration is more in the distal segments and hence are readily available to buffer the hydrogen ions. In addition, pK of phosphate buffer system is 6.8, which is close to the pH of tubular fluid, and hence it works close to its most effective range. But again, it has limitation. Under normal conditions, most of the filtered phosphates are reabsorbed and only 30 to 40 milliequivalents per day are available to buffer hydrogen ions. Hence, its capacity to buffer hydrogen ions is limited, and excretion of titratable acid cannot increase greatly during severe acidosis. And here comes the real hero, the ammonia buffer. This is the most important adaptive mechanism, especially in chronic acidosis. Ammonia buffer composed of ammonia, that is NH3, and the ammonium ion, that is NH4+. Tubular cells metabolize glutamine to produce 2 ammonia and 2 bicarbonate ions. Ammonia diffuses into the lumen, combines with hydrogen ion to form ammonium ion. Since the apical membranes are less permeable to ammonium ion, they are trapped into the filtrate and are excreted into the urine. This is known as non-ionic diffusion of ammonia. The newly formed bicarbonate ions enter the blood. During chronic acidosis, ammonium excretion can rise even more than 500 milliequivalents per day. Unlike phosphates, ammonia production is not limited by filtration. It is regulated metabolically. Whenever hydrogen is secreted as phosphate or ammonium, a new bicarbonate ion is added into the plasma, and thus distal segments of the nephron remove acid and replenish buffer stores simultaneously. Without renal buffers, secreted hydrogen ions would hit the pH of 4.5 limit almost instantly, and further acid secretion would stop. And the removal of this daily acid load would require large volume of urine to be formed. Just to give you an example, to remove 80 milliequivalents of hydrogen ions in a day, urine volume necessary to be formed in a day is 2667 liters, which is highly impossible, and that is the importance of renal buffers. Now let's see how renal acid excretion is regulated. Hydrogen ion secretion increases in following conditions. First is acidosis. It may be due to excess production of acids or accumulation of carbon dioxide. In any condition, stimulate hydrogen ion secretion. Acidosis increases the activity of enzyme glutaminase, which favors the production of ammonia and helps in excretion of excess of acids. Next is decrease in the ECF volume. It increases angiotensin II formation, which stimulates sodium hydrogen exchanger, thus increasing hydrogen secretion. Hyperaldosteronism, as in Cohn's syndrome, stimulates hydrogen ion secretion by the intercalated cells, leading to alkalosis. Hypokalemia, that is decrease in the serum potassium levels, also stimulate hydrogen ion secretion by increasing the activity of hydrogen potassium pump in intercalated cells. Reverse is also true. Hyperkalemia has opposite effect, which decreases hydrogen ion secretion, and there is tendency towards acidosis. So to summarize, kidneys provide final, most powerful and most precise control of acid-base balance by reabsorbing nearly all the filtered bicarbonates, with about 80 to 90% occurring in PCT, and excreting fixed acids in the form of titratable acids and ammonium, mainly in the distal nephrons, generating new bicarbonate to replenish body's buffer stores, and adjusting acid excretion continuously according to the body's metabolic needs. Because of these mechanisms, renal system is essential for long-term regulation of pH and for correcting the sustained acidosis or alkalosis. Once these fundamentals are clear, understanding the clinical disorders of acid-base balance becomes much easier. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. If you enjoy my presentations, press the like button and share it with your friends. For more such videos, subscribe my channel and click the bell icon. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.